84 on the calendar in the matter of Patton versus Shumway Nair. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Young man, have a seat, please.
Mr. Patton, according to your complaint, the defendant and her 16-year-old son owe you for money as a result of the son's burglarizing of your home on several occasions. Their defense is that they do not deny, the young man does not deny that he entered your home illegally, but that on the date that you say the majority of the damage was done, somebody else did it. Right?
I believe so.
Tell me the first time you noticed that someone had been in your home.
I hadn't moved in yet, but I had the house furnished and was about to move in. And I came to the house one evening to bring some linens from my son's bedroom, and I noticed a police car in front of the defendant's house. And I walked into my house and noticed that there was some damage done.
Tell me about the damage.
I saw some pizza in the carpet. I saw the pizza container in the trash can. A Nestle Toll House cookie container or package was completely consumed and in the trash.
Had you brought these things into the house?
Not the pizza. The cookies I had put in the refrigerator, right.
Okay.
A bottle of Goldschlager was gone, and a half a bottle of vodka. The bed in my bedroom, the linens were all brand new, had all been pulled down and looked like somebody had slept in it. Let me see, 2 towels were missing. My jacuzzi cover was open, and the jacuzzi was running. And I hadn't been there in about a week at this time.
So you had not moved into this home yet? You
Correct.
were in the process of furnishing it?
Correct.
Go ahead.
And I thought, well, I better go outside. There's a police officer outside. I better go out and report this. And before I could get to the police officer, the defendant's younger sister approached me and told me that her brother had shot my windows out with a BB gun. And I hadn't seen that yet. That was on the whole side of the house that faces their house. So then I approached the police officer, and he was there to take the BB gun from the defendant at that time. That's why he was there. And on another case, I guess, I don't know. And he came over to my house, and I talked to him, and they just, talked about arresting him or pressing charges. And the defendant's mother said, if they make restitution, we won't press charges or arrest the defendant. So
the defendant's mother came to you and said that she would make
restitution? The same evening, right. The same evening.
Tell me the best that you can recall the extent of the conversation.
Well, the defendant's stepmother or stepfather wanted the son arrested. I guess there's been previous problems. But the mother didn't. She assured me that I'd get the money back for the broken windows and any other damages.
What did he say? Anything?
I've never talked to him. Never have one time.
He was not there?
No, he wasn't.
Did you get an estimate for the windows?
The estimate was $605.
$605. What other damage was there?
About a week after I moved into the house had appeared to have been broken into again. And this time, I noticed I came in the house and the computer was on. We'd been out of town, and we came back and the computer was on. I went upstairs to my bedroom, and in my headboard of my bedroom, I keep a pistol locked. And that was broken open. And the bullets were missing, but the gun was still there. The spa cover had been torn with a knife. I checked my telephone, and I hit redial on my phone, and the phone number came up to the defendant's house. At that time, I called the police again, and they came out, and it was the same story. They tried to tell me they weren't in the house this time.
Who's they?
The defendant's mother and the stepfather.
Did you ever get the money for the windows?
Well, they had finally told me that they had the money for it and to go ahead and have it fixed. When we came time to collect, that same day, the stepfather and the mother I guess they separated, and there was no money.
Let's have it.
Some of the accusations that Mr. Patton has are true. I admit to that. I made a bad mistake.
How many times did you enter his house illegally?
3.
Give me the dates.
I don't know the dates. I wasn't.
Well, what did you do the first time you went to his house?
The first time, my sister was playing in the backyard, and she threw a ball accidentally into the backyard. She couldn't get it, so I went over there. And the first time, I was just looking in the windows. Second time, I went over the door, sliding glass door was cracked open. I went in.
And what did you do in the house?
The cookie dough container that was opened, I had that. I ate that.
What about the pizza?
Pizza was not me.
Who was it?
I don't know.
Did you ever have anyone else with you in the house?
No, I did not.
Never?
Never.
But you slept in his bed?
No, I did not.
Did you sit in his bed?
No.
What else did you do?
That day, that was it. I just left.
You went into the house a third time.
Yes.
What did you do the third time?
Third time, the towels that he mentioned were missing. I was using those, and I went in his jacuzzi.
And it was just you. What time of the day or evening was this?
It was between 3:30 and 5.
Did you drink any of his alcohol?
No.
Did you ever make a phone call from his home?
No.
How old is your sister?
The one mentioned is 7 now.
You have another sister?
Yes, she's 12.
Did she ever go in with you into the house?
No.
So you did this all on your own?
Yes.
You sure about that?
Yes.
Have you ever been arrested before?
Yes.
For what?
Stealing.
Stealing what?
I can't exactly remember. I was around 12.
Stealing from where?
Walmart.
Now, why don't you tell me about shooting out his windows?
That was out of boredom. It's a mistake I made, and I'm sorry.
When the police were called to your house on the day that Mr. Patton says the police were there, they were there, he indicates, to remove the BB gun.
Yes.
So there must have been a complaint from someone about you with the BB gun.
Before Mr. Patton was there, I had already been caught, and
Caught doing what?
I was, my stepdad found me in the jacuzzi, and I admitted that I did break the windows with the BB gun.
So it was your stepfather who called the police?
I don't know who it was.
Who called the police?
I did.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Eddie Patton says next-door neighbor 16-year-old Christopher Shumway broke into his house and vandalized it. Christopher admits to using the jacuzzi and eating cookie dough, but says that's it.
Mr. Patton says he has not been reimbursed for any of the damage. Why not?
Well, he made that agreement between himself and my estranged husband. And when my husband left, he had already told me that he had given the money to Mr. Patton, which apparently was not so. And so when my husband left, so went the money.
Okay, well, it's not your husband's responsibility. This is not his child. This is your responsibility. Other than the $605 for the windows, Mr. Patton, what other damage did your property suffer?
The cleaning of the carpet for the pizza, and then the spa cover, which is going to have to be replaced. I haven't done yet.
How much was that?
$418
$418.
and 88 cents.
And I beg to differ with these figures.
Why is that?
Because when we had the conversation in his kitchen, he said that the spa cover was no big deal. He knew somebody that could repair that. And the quote on the windows was $325.
You have something on the windows for me, sir?
I have a receipt for that, Your Honor.
Can I see it, please?
Construction company. My brother-in-law works for that company, and he did the labor for free for me. So there's no labor charge on that.
He's never presented us with a receipt.
Well, you can take a look at it. He doesn't have to repair a spa cover. He was moving into a brand new house with brand new sheets, everything nice and neat. The invasion of someone's home by somebody, by a burglar, eating, messing up the place. There isn't a question in my mind that your son did all of that. Not a question. He knows it, and I know it. He may have been with somebody else. If he chooses to keep that a secret, that's totally up to him. But it is far too coincidental to think that someone else would come and do pretty much the same thing as your son did. Take a jacuzzi, not steal anything else from the house, and just come in and generally vandalize it. That's his MO. So you're suing for $1,113.79, and I'm awarding you that judgment. Listen, you're 16 years old. You've already had 2 experiences with the law. This one you got away with because, according to you, you committed no less than 2 acts of burglary. Whether you go into a house and eat cookie dough or steal a diamond necklace, the value of what you steal has absolutely nothing to do with the charge. The charge is still burglary, because the definition of burglary is breaking and entering into the dwelling of another with intent to commit a crime therein. And you did commit a crime by taking property that didn't belong to you. And I don't care. It makes no difference to me or the law whether it was cookie dough. So you got away cheap. Now, I don't know what happened to you as a result of your first theft. Probably nothing. Did you go to court on that case when you were 12 years old?
No, I was giving counseling and community service.
Probably a big mistake. Maybe if they had sent you to juvenile hall for a couple of days, we might not have been here today. In any event, the judgment is for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,113 as requested. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It was kind of exciting to move into a place that was brand new, everything new inside, and that kind of changed the outcome of that.
I won't do that again.
Justice is served.
Now, this is case number 175 on the calendar in the matter of Aldridge versus Wynn. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Miss Aldrich, the defendant is your former boyfriend. You claim you loaned him some money. You want it back.
Yes, ma'am.
He says he owes you nothing. When did you make the first loan? What was it for? I mean, if I look a little frustrated, it's just that it seems to me that I see an awful lot of young women standing on that side of the table and young men standing on this side of the table, which suggests to me that women, for some reason, enable men to take advantage of them. Then when the relationship's all over, they want their money back.
Well, when he said he would pay me back. Well, at our
See a lot more women on this side of the table than I see men. Means that they're a lot smarter. And I didn't think so. Go ahead. When was the first loan?
I want to say it was on my first trip to see him in Kentucky.
What do you mean your first trip to see him in Kentucky?
He moved to Kentucky during our relationship.
Didn't that give you a clue?
Well, he said he was mad at Florida and that was his home and he wanted to go back home. So
he was mad at Florida, but he loved you. So he moved back to Kentucky.
Yes. So he moved up there.
Ding-a-ling.
That's what my family's been telling me, but I just didn't listen.
Oh, boy.
So you went back to Kentucky to visit him?
Yes, ma'am, I did. He said he paid my first whole plane ticket up there.
Yeah.
And so I went up there. He was going to pay me back when I got to Kentucky, the money for the plane ticket.
How much was the ticket?
The first one was $138.
And you paid for it?
Yes, ma'am. It's in my. I have
$138. Did he ever pay you back?
No, ma'am.
No. But you went again?
Well, yes. I thought he would have a job, and
No, but you went again.
But this time we would go in half because I figured, it's a 50-50 thing, our relationship, so we would go in half. I'm like, well, because he wanted me to come and see him really bad, so he'd pay the first one, and I wanted to see him the second time. So I would say, okay, we'll just pay half.
When was the first time you went to see him? What date?
10/31/01.
And when was the second time?
12/05/01.
Okay. So he paid you nothing of $138 for 2 months, so you went again.
Yes, ma'am.
That's smart. Well, what was his reason for not paying you back in that 2 months, $138?
He can't keep a job longer than 3 weeks.
Then I wouldn't have gone a second time.
Well, he supposedly had a job again.
Then I wouldn't have gone a second time till I got some money, honey. What else?
So I went up there a second time, and he's going to pay half of that ticket.
All right, go ahead.
And so I get
I'm not
up
impressed.
The first day we go up there, we go to turn in his work uniform back in, and I ask him why. He said he lost the job. I was like, why? He had no cut and dry excuse, so he used my money for the remainder of the week.
So?
So he said he would pay me back half when...
I'm not interested. What else?
Finally comes back to Florida.
He came back to Florida.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was mad at Kentucky. He came back to Florida.
I don't really know.
You don't know. Yeah, go
So
ahead.
he comes back. We go on a spring break trip. We're supposed to save each $500, put it in together, and that would be our spending money for spring break.
And what month was this?
3/21/02.
3/02. Now, from October 01 until 3/02, has he given you back the $138?
No, ma'am.
Half of the $138 for the second trip?
No, ma'am. The second ticket was more.
Whatever it was, has he given you back any of the money that you used to spending money on the second trip?
Once before we broke up, he paid $106 to me once, and then we broke.
$106 for what?
Just all the accumulations of money he said he would pay me back for.
Now you're going to each save up $500.
Yes,
to
for
go
the
on another
the
trip.
spring break trip, yes.
On a big spring break trip. Why don't you save up $500 and give you the money he owes you?
I figured, why won't he pay me back? He's my boyfriend. Because we had done a previous trip before, the previous spring break to Daytona, and we both put in $400, and we both put in our half and everything, and that was great. So I figured these second times, oh, he didn't, he's in Kentucky, he was tight on money. Okay, he's back home now. We'll get him another good job, but I really want to go on spring break because I've never really, I wanted to go to...
That's your problem.
Yes, ma'am.
So, he's put in $500 each. What happened?
Yes. He can't save the money, so I save $250. We go down there, we spend my $250, and then he said he would pay me back for the hotels. So,
I'd just like to hear a word from Mr. Wynn. Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Listen to me.
We started...
I don't, listen to me. I'm doing fine.
Thank
But
you.
that's none of your business.
Okay. Our relationship started January 17th of '01, okay? The first date that she has on here is October 21st of '01. This is where she starts keeping track of what I owe her, what she says that I should pay her back. From that time to the 10th, we're using all my money. There wasn't a question of what you need to pay. I took care of it. You know, the plane ticket, I never said I paid for it. It was her decision to come out there. It was her choice. You know, she came out there. She paid for it. The trip to Daytona, I do believe I wrote her a check for an amount of maybe $100 or $200 right off the bat before we even left, because I had my mother give it to her. I think I was waiting on a paycheck, and the cash was just not accessible at that time. And that's pretty much it.
Now, I want to hear more.
What do you want to hear?
Did you ever tell her that you would pay for the hotel?
I did not say I would pay.
No, you didn't even let me finish the question yet, Mr. Wynn. She finds you irresistible. I do not.
Not anymore.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So you have a future plan?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
He's not part of your future.
I know. I figured that out.
Figured.
That you would pay her back for half the hotel rooms for the last trip that you took.
No.
After you took that trip, which is in March of 2002, how much after that did the relationship go south?
I think we made it, another month, maybe 2 months.
And what happened?
It's my own fault.
How is it your own fault?
Well, too much liquor and my mouth overloaded my butt one night, and I showed my pretty good.
Showed
She
his
got
what?
scared.
What did he say?
Something about showing isn't pretty good.
She got scared. She left. She got a restraining order, and we went to court over that, and that's it. There hasn't been no
I mean,
contact
you lost
since.
your temper
Yeah,
because you had too much to drink.
that was half of it.
Had you had too much to drink before during the course of your relationship with the plaintiff?
No,
Never had a drinking problem?
no.
Is that right?
No, he was never like that before. I don't know what happened the last 2 weeks of our relationship. He pushed me one incident, and that's why I got the restraining order. And while we were at the injunction hearing, I asked the judge, I was like, well, he still owes me money. How can I get that? He said, you're going to have to go to small claims court. So I served him one letter of outlining everything that he owed me, signed it. I wanted the $700. In 2 weeks, he paid me $50. Sent him a letter saying, well, I'll accept $50
Oh, just
more.
1 second. Did you send her $50?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Why did you send her the $50?
The reason for that is we had a big argument over me stealing $40 out of her purse. I didn't steal it, I just took it. You know, my money's your money should be my money. You know what I'm saying? We never had a problem with money. I took $40 out of her wallet while she was staying with me in Kentucky and took off and went drinking one night. Having fun, blah, blah, blah. And the next day, I told her I took $40 out. It was a big uproar. We had a big fight. Not really a big fight. We had a little dispute over it. And for a few months after that, you know, it would come up $40, because she said it hurt her, and I knew it hurt her. So I sent her $50, there's your 40, and here's 10 extra. And that's it.
What a man.
Yeah. How about that?
What a guy. Miss Aldrich, do you know what I'm going to give you on your complaint?
No.
Nothing. And I'm going to tell you why. How old are you?
20.
Do you work?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a cashier and a nanny, and I go to school.
What do you go to school for?
I want to be a nurse, a midwife.
So you have a future planned?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
He's not part of your future.
I know. I figured that out.
You figured wrong.
He's not part of your future.
I know.
When you're involved in a relationship, and let us say that the relationship went further and you became engaged and married, which is what you were planning, I'm sure.
We talked about it, but it was fantasy.
We weren't going to be bothered about this $138 for a plane ticket, or $80 for half a plane ticket, or $200 for a hotel room. You're in love. You're planning a future in your own mind. This isn't loan stuff. There's a difference between a loan. I am giving you $200. You will pay me back $20 a week until it is paid off, as opposed to, don't worry, I'll pay you back.
Well, being my boyfriend, I thought I could trust him and that he would.
But you had no reason to trust him, madam. He never paid you back.
He did pay me one payment before we broke up of $106 and said we'd give
You
you
know, I
one
don't even
paycheck.
Who
remember
knows what
making
that's
that
for?
payment.
Who knows what that's for? But what I'm telling you, you are a very fortunate young 20-year-old. You've got a bright future, and you recognize a mistake. And if I never see you here again, madam, you will have learned a very good lesson.
I have learned, thank you.
The very good lesson is, if you're dating a guy and you have to lend him money, say sayonara.
Exactly.
Right? Lend money if, gee, I left my wallet home, you got 20 bucks until we get home? Different story.
Right.
If somebody is perpetually losing their wallet,
Or their job.
or their job,
Yeah.
or their temper, that's somebody that you want to father your children?
No, ma'am.
No, you don't.
No.
No, you don't.
No, ma'am.
So consider yourself one of the luckiest young people that I've met in a long time. You got to be cheap. You're single.
Yes, I am.
You have no children. You don't have any big debt. You didn't lend him thousands.
No, I didn't.
You gave away a couple of $100, and you learned a good lesson.
Yes, I did.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He is just a womanizer and a user.
I don't know. You know, it's over. It's done with.
I'm very picky about the guys I see now.
I'm just a sucker. I'm just not the victim.
He's just one of those people that you always want to keep your eye on.
I'm on the calendar in the matter of Eskridge versus Curl. Parties are sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks have seats.
Miss Eskridge, you claim two things in your lawsuit. First, you claim a couple of small loans to the defendant to help him out with rent and stuff. And you were his girlfriend, according to you. And then you say that at a party, he became enraged about something, threw something at you, and cracked your head open. Mm-hmm. Your head had to be stapled together. You want him to pay for your medical bills, your pain and suffering. Mr. Curl says he has the clue as to what you're talking about. How do you know him?
In November, my neighbor called me, and she told me that him and his girlfriend have an apartment underneath me, that his girlfriend had kicked him and his 4-year-old out at 4 o'clock in the morning, and could I help? I had previously helped her, 3 other people, referring them to the manager. She's my friend, to get apartments, so she knew that I would help. He was staying with my friend's house. I gave her like $60 for rent for him and his baby to stay.
For him?
Mm-hmm, and his little girl to stay.
Okay.
But anyway, after that, in December, he got an apartment in our building. I went to the manager and begged for this apartment.
Okay, and what other money did you give him?
65 for food one time, 100. He broke out his girlfriend's windows in her apartment on New Year's Eve because she was in the house with one of his friends, and he busted out all the windows, and they were going to evict him. So he asked me, could I help again? Because he was going through a custody thing with this baby, and me and her just hit it off right away, this little girl. I said, yeah. I gave him $100.
Did he ever say anything about repaying this money to you?
Yes, ma'am. He told me as soon as he got through with the custody stuff, on which would be the 16th of May, with his daughter, he would start paying me back this money.
Now tell me what happened with the assault, Miss Eskridge.
He was having a get-together, and I thought it was kind of rude since I helped him out that he didn't invite me. I went to the balcony.
Were you dating him at the time?
Yes, he started wanting me to date him as I was helping him.
Well, did you date him?
Yes, I did, yes.
For how long?
Up until...
how many weeks did you date him?
About 8.
8 weeks. Okay, so you dated him for 8 weeks, and then he had a party and he didn't invite you.
Mm-hmm.
So you went to the balcony of your apartment or his apartment?
His.
So you went to the party even though you weren't invited?
I went to the balcony. I didn't go inside. I didn't go inside. I just went to the balcony. He was standing out there just to talk to him.
And what happened?
I asked him something. We started arguing. Next thing I know, looked down. He had something in his hand. But as soon as I saw it in his hand, I was hit and bleeding. That's how quick it was.
And what happened as a result of that injury?
I had to have my head stapled. They stapled my head together.
You have the medical records? Can
Yes,
I
ma'am.
see them, please? Did you file a police report?
No, because I was afraid that with the custody stuff, I didn't go to the hospital till the 15th. It happened around the 13th. I was scared. He wanted me to leave with him after he hit me. He was scared, I was scared. He wanted me to leave with him. He took me to his friend's house, and his wife looked at my head. I didn't know if the police was going to come and take his daughter away. I was so close to her, attached to her, I was scared. But after 2 days, I was in so much pain, I had to go to the hospital.
So you didn't go to the hospital for 2 days?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Miss Eskridge, can you tell me who these people are?
My son and my dad.
Were either one of them present when you were assaulted?
Yes, my son.
Okay, step up here. Tell me your name.
Gerard Messenberg.
Jerome, do you live with your mom?
Yes.
Who else lives there?
My sisters and my brothers.
I have 6 kids.
Do you know Mr. Curl?
Yes.
Have you ever seen him in your home?
No.
He's never been to your home as far as you know?
No.
Tell me what you saw on the day that your mother was injured.
I was outside with two of my brothers, and my mom was standing by the balcony. I don't know what she was doing, and then I seen something hit her in the head, but I thought nothing of it because the way it bounced off, and it looked like a rubber ball, like it could be a rubber ball or something soft, so the way it bounced off.
Did you see which direction it was thrown from?
It came from inside of his curtains, inside of his house.
Did you ever see what it was?
No.
You never saw what it was.
His nephew told me, other people in the building told me what he threw.
Well, you can't tell me what anybody else
I didn't
said
see it.
to
I
you.
just seen something in his hand, and
Okay.
I didn't know what it was.
All right, Mr. Curl, let me hear from you, sir. Tell me about this party that you had in your house.
And I had like a little get-together, but no, she wasn't invited. Because for one reason, she wasn't my girlfriend, and my girlfriend stayed in the next apartment. And then, you know, but she was a friend, and yes, me and my girlfriend, yeah, we had a little misunderstanding, but she done a little things for me, but I know it was a loan. She never told me it was a loan.
Did she give you any money, sir?
She gave me like a little change. Here you go.
No, I'm not talking about change. $60, $100?
No. She bought me like probably some like McDonald's for me and my daughter.
What about these windows that got broken out, sir? You want to tell me about that?
Yes, I will. Yes.
Look at me and tell me.
That was a case that happened, and they found out that it wasn't none of me. It was a friend of mine that did that to my fiance's windows, and that's why.
A friend of yours?
Yes, a friend of mine. It wasn't none of me that did that. And my fiance.
When did that happen?
In the month of December sometime.
The management company talked to you about maybe evicting you?
No, they just told me since a friend of mine's done it, I got to pay for the property. For the damages.
Right.
And which I done.
Who gave you the money?
My own money.
How would she know about that?
How would she know about that? Because she stayed right above us in the same complex.
She says that she was injured at a party in your house. You know, that's when she came and she was not invited. What do you know about that, sir?
I don't know. I don't have no idea about that. I haven't seen it. You know, she said she was on the back of my patio, and I did have some company back there, and they know how she do things. She comes around and disturb everybody.
How does she come around and disturb people?
By, you know, cussing everybody out, putting things on my doors, windows, banging on my windows early in the morning.
Like what?
Like notes.
You have any of those notes?
Antiques, yes, I do.
I'd like to see them, please. Miss Eskridge, why do you put these notes on their door?
It may not be what I put. It doesn't look like.
Show them to her, please.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
They swing. He opened the door up, and the man peeked his head up. The man had no clothes on.
And later today,
I kind of went on a high-speed pursuit for a couple of cities.
Was this the first time you were arrested, Kenneth?
Correct, it was.
No, Kenneth. Don't fib to Mother Nature.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Noelle Eskridge says ex-boyfriend Jackie Curl owes for several loans. Noelle says she received staples in her head from his assault.
I'd like you to tell me why you put those notes on the door.
Okay. After I loaned him some money and went to his door and knocked on his door, I want to look at it and make sure it was my writing. Because the way he's sitting here lying, I want to make sure it was my writing. I went to his house to ask him for some of my money. It was a man inside of his house, half naked. And he opened the door up, and the man peeked his head up. The man had no clothes on. A friend of theirs, their wife, she told me to be very careful because they swing. And I was enraged because his girlfriend chased me with her girlfriends for 3 months down in a car. When I was helping his daughter in November through December for 2 months, I was chased with women and her. I couldn't figure out why, but she had women with her chasing me till people told me what they do. And I was enraged when I found out because I felt I wasn't given the choice, that I should have been told if you were these kind of people. I was enraged when I did that. I was just shocked when that man came to the door.
Miss Eskridge, do you take any medication?
No, I don't.
Currently under a doctor's care?
No.
In order to have a successful lawsuit, Miss Eskridge, you have to prove two things as far as a loan is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
You have to prove to the judge's satisfaction that there was, in fact, money turned over and that there was a contract that that money would be repaid. I don't find that here. The second thing is you claim that Mr. Curl assaulted you. Mr. Curl says he did not assault you. I have to be satisfied before I'm satisfied that someone has caused such serious physical injury that there's sufficient proof. And I don't find that there is sufficient proof that Mr. Curl, either intentionally or otherwise, caused you the injury to your head. What I do find is that I think it's a good idea that you don't have any contact with them anymore. Not leave notes on his door, not leave notes on her door, because I don't think it's good for you.
No.
I think if what you tell me is true, then you made a mistake in judgment as to someone's character.
Mm-hmm.
And you extended yourself, and you should think twice about doing it again.
Right.
Do you understand? But right now, what I think you have to do is say, you made a mistake with him. He's really not a nice person. I don't want to have anything more to do with them, with either him or with his girlfriend. I've got children that I have to take care of that rely on me, and I don't want to waste any more of my energy on this man or his girlfriend. Does that make sense to you?
It makes a whole lot of sense, you know.
Good. I'm glad.
You know, he stalks me.
I'm,
you know, very badly. It's
then,
bad.
Well, then what you have to do is say, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And I'm going to move on and not have anything to do with them because I have a greater responsibility, and my great responsibility is to my children. And I have to be mentally alert and healthy for my kids, and I don't want to take anything away with people who aren't nice. So don't have anything to do with them anymore. Okay?
All right.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I just think it was outrageous because he asked me to marry him last Wednesday.
I was dealing with a woman that's kind of, you know, maybe can be fatal.
He's crazy, and he needed to pay for what he did.
One of your girlfriends need not to be posting notes on other women's doors and panties because they won't be so nice next time.
Case number 29 on the calendar in the matter of Glinka versus Johnson. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Glinka, you and the defendant have a child together. How old is that child?
She's 4. She'll be 5 in August.
And at some point you separated. How long ago did you separate?
About 3 years ago.
And after you separated, the defendant had another child.
Yes.
The child is now about 1.5 years or 2 years old. Is
Yes.
that right? And at some point she came to you and said, when that new child was about 1 year old, 1.5 years old, that she thought you might be the father.
Yes.
And I assume that there was reason that she thought that you might be the father, even though she had another boyfriend at the time.
Yes.
So according to you, you took a DNA test.
Yes.
And the test proved that you were not the father. You had originally agreed, according to you, that you would share the cost of the test with the defendant, but then you changed that she would pay for the whole test if you were not the father. She didn't pay for anything, and you want to be reimbursed because you paid the bill. That's what the case is about.
Yes.
What prompted you, Miss Johnson, to tell Mr. Glinka that this new child might be his?
Well, the fact that he looked somewhat like my daughter did when she was young, and she looked just like him when she was younger. And just the timing when I got pregnant, the time I was with him, and the time I got pregnant, it just came together. And I thought about it.
You had another boyfriend at the time.
Right.
Did he take a DNA test?
No, he didn't.
He never did?
No.
Why not?
We just assumed that our son was his and not Steve's.
Well, now that you know it was not his, doesn't he want to take a DNA test?
No.
Are you still with him?
No.
You're not with him anymore?
No.
Does he pay support for that child?
He's supposed to, but he doesn't.
Did he admit paternity of that child in a
Yes,
court?
he did. Well, not in court. It went through the hospital, and they established it through the hospital.
You got to keep your date book more accurate, Miss Johnson. In any event, what responsibility do you think, madam, that you have to pay for this test?
Responsibility.
Responsibility?
Well, I asked him to take the test because I did think that my son was his, and he said he did not want to because he did not want to pay for another child support for another child because I was initially going down to file for it.
Against whom?
Him.
You were going to go and file for child support against him?
Right.
Even though you had another boyfriend?
Right.
Okay, so I'm waiting. Go ahead, finish.
And like I said, I initially thought it was, his. So we talked about it and we agreed I pay half, he pays half. and that was the agreement. But then he changed it to if he was not the father, I had to pay the full amount back to him.
Well, did you agree to that?
No.
But you agreed to pay for half?
The half, yeah.
So why didn't you pay for half?
At the time, I lost my job right after we agreed and was unable to pay for it.
So you acknowledge that you owe him for half the test?
Half the test, yes, but not the full amount.
All right. Now, Mr. Glinka, why do you think, sir, that she should pay for the whole test, where your initial agreement was that you would each pay for half?
Our initial agreement was that if the baby was mine, she would pay half, I would pay half. If the baby wasn't mine, then she would pay me my half back.
That's not what you say, or it's not what she said. You both seem to indicate that at first you were going to share the cost, but after the test was taken, you said to her...
No, right at the beginning, we had an agreement that we would each pay half. If the baby was mine, then that would be it. Later on, the DNA diagnostic testing started calling me, telling me that they wanted the other half of the money. I called her, asked her why she didn't pay her half. She said she don't have the money. I was like, all right, I will pay your half. If the baby's not mine, you pay me the full amount back.
I said after the test was taken, you changed the agreement. That's what you just told me.
Yeah, because she didn't pay her half.
After the test was taken, you changed the agreement for the whole test. Now, Mr. Glinka, at the time when this child was conceived, was Miss Johnson living with somebody else?
No, she was, yes, she was. Yes, she was.
She was?
Yes.
And you were still seeing her?
On and off, yes.
And you were still intimate with her?
Yes.
You see, now, if you hadn't been intimate with her, sir, you wouldn't have to worry about paying your half.
I know.
Right?
I know.
Right? So I don't feel so sorry for you, sir. We understand each other?
Mm-hmm.
She has to pay for half the test. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $270. Listen to me. If you don't have an order of filiation legally declaring somebody to be the father of this child, then they are not required to do anything. And if I were you, I would take a quick hopscotch down to the family court or the local domestic relations court, file an appropriate case, and then have your current boyfriend or the person you think might be the father of this child tested. The child, I don't care about you. The child is entitled to know who the father is for a lot of reasons, including medical history.
Excuse me.
What?
I have my witness that heard her say over the phone that she would pay me the full amount.
She wasn't in there.
Listen to me, sir. Listen to me very carefully. If all you could do was mail it in, then I would say to you, well, she should pay the whole test because she was just harassing you. You got away clean for $270. Under the circumstances, I would count my blessings if I were you. You got it? Good. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She started telling my family members that the baby was mine.
The way he is with my daughter now, I'm happy that he's not his father, too.
It was relief after finding out that he wasn't mine.
When he's supposed to pick my daughter up, he doesn't show up.
We still have another kid together, my daughter.
He'll take her to his house, but then he'll leave her with his mother or another family member and go do what he wants.
I see her all the time.
Stay away from guys like him.
Keep it in your pants.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Coker versus Coker. Step forward, please.
Homemaker Wanda Coker is suing her ex-daughter-in-law, restaurant manager Charlotta Coker, for unpaid rent, living expenses, and the cost of a freezer.
Mrs. Coker, the defendant is your former daughter-in-law.
Yes.
Who are you, sir?
I'm her son, her ex-husband.
According to your complaint, you believe that your former daughter-in-law owes you for some rent, for some miscellaneous expenses, and for a freezer that she promised you.
Yes, they had moved
Okay,
back.
just a minute. When were you divorced from your husband?
It was finalized September 19th.
And when did you separate from him?
December 20th of last year.
And how long were you married?
We were married for 5 years.
Do you have any children together?
Yes, we do.
How many?
We have one.
How old is that child?
He's 6.
Who does he live with?
He lives with me.
Is that correct?
We have joint custody.
Who does he live with the majority of the week?
It's about 50-50.
Okay, so you live close by
Yes,
to each
yes.
other. All right, Miss Coker, you want to tell me when your daughter-in-law lived with you
Well,
that you
yeah.
claim she owes you rent?
They came back in June right after school had gotten out last year.
Who's they?
Her and her 2 children, actually her 3 children, and my son were moving back here to get a divorce because it would be cheaper to move all their stuff together.
And they came to live with you?
She and the 2 kids did. Then she went back along with my son to pack their belongings and have them transported back, but she had left her 2 older children with me.
What period of time do you allege she owes you rent for? Give me the
Off
month and year.
From June through December.
June of 01 through December of 01.
Right.
And was she living with you alone or with your son?
No, he was in rehab. He had went to rehab.
For alcohol, I see.
Right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The freezer's still in her house.
I didn't tell her she couldn't have it. I just want to say that it's my freezer. She told me I could have it.
I don't know what you want. You want me to make a judgment as to whose freezer it is? I don't have to do that.
To live with Wanda when her husband entered rehab.
Okay. Is that correct? When you came back in June, he was planning to go into rehab?
He was planning on it, yes. And it was in July
that he went?
When we came back to Wichita.
In July, you came back as a family?
We came back as a family. We weren't coming back to get a divorce. We were coming back as a family, trying to work things out.
And you were going to live with your mother-in-law?
Yes, stay there until we could get a job, get on our feet, yes.
Fine. What arrangement do you claim there was for rent?
When they moved all their things back, she had told me that she had a deep freeze that I could have for part of the rent.
You mean while your son was in rehab?
Right. Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead. So?
So in the meantime, when they were here, they had this dog that she had brought back that tore up my back storm door.
What do you mean she had brought back? Where was your son? Did he come back too?
He had came back, but he went into rehab.
Just a second. He came back, and they brought a dog. Is that right?
Right.
All of them as a family. Your son, your daughter-in-law, your grandchild, and her 2 children. They all came back together with a dog.
But then she flew back out and decided she was not coming back to Kansas. She was going to make her home in Washington.
Okay. When was that?
That was about July.
All right. How long was she gone in July?
Probably a month.
So then she came back in August?
The latter part of August.
What period of time, I'm saying to you, do you claim she owes you rent for?
At least 4 months.
What 4 months?
For June, she didn't.
She doesn't owe you any money for June. Get it from him. July? She doesn't owe you any money for July. You haven't told me you had an agreement with her. Get your rent from him. Now, when did she come back by herself?
It was the 1st of October.
She came back by herself.
October. I know it was before Halloween.
She came back October 1st.
It was in October, yes.
Where was he?
He was in rehab.
Okay. And what did she say to you when she came back in October?
She told me that they had that deep freeze that I could have for part of the rent. She could not afford to pay me anything.
So what are you suing her for rent for? You're suing her for rent.
Well, the children weren't my grandchildren. And
so what you have to have an agreement for rent, madam. You don't have it. You didn't have an agreement.
She was the one that told me that I could have the deep freeze for
part of the rent. Not talking about the freezer, madam. You said rent.
That was for part of the rent.
Miss Coker, you're not following me, madam. I mean, I think that your whole lawsuit is ridiculous. You're suing the mother of one of your grandchildren when there is a divorce, and it appears to me that your son and your former daughter-in-law have a reasonable enough relationship to share custody, and you are foolish enough to sue her for a deep freeze. Foolish enough. Now, I don't understand that. She comes to your house. Your son is an alcoholic. He's going into rehab. He's not providing for his family. She has a baby and 2 other children, right, trying to keep it all together. And you're suing her for a deep freeze? Where is your brain? Where is your mind?
I have proof that the dog tore up my back door.
He brought the dog.
No,
he brought the dog.
The dog
of course
was not his. The dog was hers.
Listen to me. According to you, they came back in June with the dog. If you didn't want the dog, you say to your son, get rid of the dog. You don't complain a year later and say the dog ripped apart my screen door. You say to your son, you can come back with your wife and the children, but you have to leave the dog home.
He tried to get rid of it.
What?
He tried to get rid of the dog, and she wouldn't let him.
Then you say you all have to leave.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Listen to me, madam. You are a very foolish woman. You have a grandchild. I don't know how many grandchildren you have, but it appears to me, I'm going to say it again, these 2 people don't appear to me to be at odds with each other. They share custody of a child, 50% custody, and there shouldn't be any problem with you mixing up trouble between the two of them so that he comes to sit to testify on your behalf against her, that's just not smart. So I have heard nothing with regard to rent. She didn't agree to pay any rent. He's responsible for necessaries for his children. He wasn't providing for necessaries for his children because he's an alcoholic and he was in rehab. During that time, you filled in for him. You're a very good mother. Now, let's talk about the freezer. Did you promise her a freezer?
No, I did not.
All right. What did you say to her with regard to the freezer?
Nothing. We brought it over to her house so we could put extra food in it because her freezer wasn't big enough for all 6 of us.
And when you left, what did you do with the freezer?
The freezer's still at her house. I haven't got it yet.
You still have the freezer at your house?
I didn't tell her she couldn't have it. I just want to say that it's my freezer. She told me I could have it for part of the rent.
Just a second. Shh, oh, be quiet. Just a second. Are you going back to get the freezer?
Yes. What does she need a freezer for? There's only one in her family.
Listen to me. I don't know what you want. You want me to make a judgment as to whose freezer it is? I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. I don't know why you're here, Mrs. Coker. All I can say to you is you better wisen up. You have a grandchild. You want to maintain a reasonable relationship with the mother of your grandchild? I would suggest that you don't get into a contest with her about whose freezer it is. Goodbye.
This is case number.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Mercado versus Atkinson. Step forward, please.
9/11 dispatcher Dawn Mercado is suing her former live-in boyfriend, mechanic Jeremy Atkinson, for unpaid rent, utility bills, and unpaid loans. Jeremy says she kicked him out because he didn't get along with her 5-year-old son.
Miss Mercado, you and the defendant were boyfriend and girlfriend, and you lived together for a brief period of time in an apartment that you leased together. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Something happened. Mr. Atkinson decided to leave, according to you. He left, and you want him to be responsible for the remainder of the lease, at least his portion of the remainder of the lease. In addition, you claim that he used your credit card, made certain charges that you want to be reimbursed for.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Atkinson says that you told him to leave the apartment. You actually kicked him out of the apartment, so why should he be responsible for the rent? And that any charges that he made on your credit card, he paid you for in cash. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
Okay. When did you move in together?
He moved into my studio apartment with me in the beginning of May, and we moved into our apartment, which we had a signed lease, on June 15th.
So what happened?
We got along very well until my son was diagnosed with having mixed ADHD. Him and my son had some problems.
How old is your son?
5 years old.
What kind of problems was your son having with Mr. Atkinson, or vice versa?
They argued constantly.
He argued with a 5-year-old?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you arguing with a 5-year-old about?
It's just whenever you'd ask him to do something, he would say he'd do it and then wouldn't go do it. Like clean his room, he wouldn't do that. If you told him to go take a shower, he wouldn't do it. And I just didn't have the patience.
We found that he had a hard time focusing, and that's why he was diagnosed. He went through several psychologists, psychiatrists, family doctors. He's now on medication, and he sees a psychiatrist anywhere from 3 to 4 times a month. He is having a lot of improvement, and he had made the comment to my mom and dad that he thought Mr. Atkinson was a monster and that he was afraid to leave with him. Yeah. I explained to Mr. Atkinson that I was not going to choose between him and my son, that my son was my priority, and that we had several disagreements about that. And it just led to problems between that and financial problems. And I never kicked Mr. Atkinson out. I told him I could no longer support him and that he was welcome to leave.
You said a couple of things that were pretty smart. You said, A, I wasn't going to choose between him and my 5-year-old. That's a no contest. You have to go. I am not finding that by your saying to him, there's the door, he did not take that as, I better get out of here or there's going to be difficulty. He says you threw him out. I think that that's what happened. Whatever, he's not going to pay the rent. Now let's hear about the credit card.
On several occasions, Mr. Atkinson asked to borrow money with the intention that he would pay me back.
Yes, it's true, Your Honor, but the majority of the time, money was reimbursed on my payday in the form of cash, or if I did any side work, she got the money from it.
Is that true?
He would give me cash for some of it, ma'am, but these are the things that he has not reimbursed me for.
Did you keep a running log of how much he spent and how much he reimbursed you when he paid you in cash?
No, ma'am.
Then I'm not getting involved. There is absolutely no way of you determining, at least for me, how much he owes you in the months that he lived there when you had this rather fluid financial arrangement. It's over. You made a mistake. Put a period. Move on. Your parents live close by?
About 30 minutes away, ma'am.
Do they help you?
As when they can.
Good. You have another few months to pay this rent. You're going to stay in the apartment or not?
Yes, ma'am. I cannot get out of the lease.
Good. That's what I think you should do. Goodbye.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Olenichuk Robertson versus Crandall. Step forward, please.
21-year-old homemaker Jennifer Olenichuk and her boyfriend, carpenter Michael Robertson, are suing their former friend, 22-year-old fast food worker Jennifer Crandall, for money owed and for vandalism to their property.
Miss Olenichuk, you and the defendant were good friends, according to what I've read, for about 7 years. And there came a time, it was past summer, that, according to you at least, the defendant was thrown out of her house. She lived with her parents or her mother, along with her child. And you volunteered to take her into your house that you share with your boyfriend.
Right.
She did, in fact, move in with you. And when was that?
June 1st, 2002.
And how old is your child?
11 months old.
And the child came with you?
Yes.
And it was your agreement, according to you, that she would take care of some chores around the house, pay some minimal rent.
Right.
Your claim it didn't work out. You told her to leave because you believed that she had stolen some money from you. You changed the locks on the door. She came home. She got angry when she found out the locks were changed. She vandalized your house, vandalized your car. Ms. Crandall says she owes you nothing. She didn't cause any damage.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It appeared that she was drinking. We were screaming at each other and yelling. She went to her car, got a crowbar out of her trunk, and went at my trunk with her crowbar.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jennifer Olenichuk and her boyfriend Michael Robertson claim former roommate Jennifer Crandall owes for vandalism to their property and unpaid rent. Jennifer says the couple locked her out.
So when did you find that she had stolen money from you? What makes you think she stole money from you?
On August 8th, I was at work. I got paid $200 in cash. I came home late that night. We had a fight because I had used Jenny's car to go to work, and I came home late.
So she was angry with you?
Yes, very angry. We went to bed very late. The next morning, we woke up, and Jenny was gone with Cheyenne, and I went in my purse, and I was missing a $100 bill. Usually she left a note when she left. She left no note that morning, and she didn't call right away. She didn't call for a few hours after that. Then when I did talk to her when she called, she had told me that her and her sister-in-law had been at the mall getting some toys for Cheyenne and this, that, and the other. And I had asked her, well, you were kind of broke yesterday. And she had told me that she took exactly $100 off of an account that she has at the bank.
Okay. So?
After that, she didn't come home all day. I went back and forth with deciding whether or not I actually wanted to be kind of mean about it and just do things the way I did. And at like the last minute, I decided. And I packed up all her and her child's stuff and put it outside. She came home about 5 minutes later, and that's when things just escalated. I was in the house the whole time watching out the window. It appeared that she was drinking. She, of course, tried to get in the door to come upstairs, and she noticed that the locks was changed. And there was a lot of yelling going on. She then started throwing rocks at the windows because I live on the second story, and sometimes you don't hear people knocking. Then it went from that to, of course, I didn't open the window or answer at all. I was scared that if I went downstairs...
You weren't sure about it.
That if I went downstairs, there'd be a physical confrontation, which didn't need to happen after everything else. She used the neighbor's phone and called about, 6 or 7 times. Why don't you come downstairs? This is ridiculous. You're being a...
Why did you decide to go the nasty route? I mean, you said I debated whether or not to go the nasty route back and forth, and finally I decided to go the nasty route. Why?
Well, and we've had a lot of problems with the friendship in the last 7 years. And the night before, like I said, we had gotten in a big fight.
Because you used her car, and you kept the car out longer than you were supposed to. That was the wrong thing to do.
Right.
So why did that end up with you doing the nasty thing and throwing her things out?
Because it was very, very loud and escalated the night before. We were screaming at each other and yelling, and I said, okay, I've already apologized 3 or 4 times. I'm sorry. And finally I was just like, well, why don't you just leave then? And when I said, why don't you just leave? She said, no, I'm not leaving. Well, then when the stuff happened the next morning, I was scared that, again, inside my house this time, I would have the same fight of, no, I'm not going to leave. So I just did things the way that I did, more or less to save.
Nasty.
Right, very nasty.
So, what do you think she owes you?
The night that the whole thing happened, August 9th, after she was angry that I changed the locks, she was trying to kick in my door. It didn't open, but she messed up the door. I do have pictures. We had to replace the lock again after I just changed it. The molding was pulled away from the door, and then after that, she realized, I don't know if she realized she wasn't going to get it open, or she just got sick of kicking at it. She went over to her car, and she was yelling stuff about, she had some tools that were stored in my trunk, because I have a very small apartment. She went to her car, got a crowbar out of her trunk, and went at my trunk with her crowbar.
Anybody ever tell you that you had to give her some notice before you changed the locks on her? You just locked her out with her 11-month-old baby.
She was already planning on moving.
What I'm telling you is, you did it in a disorganized fashion over an incident that was your fault. You took her car and kept it without her permission.
No, that's not why I kicked her out. The reason I kicked her out was the money.
She's not the only one who lives in your house.
No, but
She's not the only one who lives in your house.
Right.
I don't know whether she took your money or not. You still are obliged. She's a rent-paying tenant to give her notice, and you didn't. You just can't say, well, I don't like this tenancy anymore. I'm changing the locks and throwing your stuff out. That doesn't work. And you yourself told me, kept going back and forth and back and forth. Should I do this the nasty way or the nice way? Nasty or nice? And at the last minute, you decided to do it the nasty way.
Right, or I could have had a broken house and a fist fight in my living room.
That's possible. You could have also had the police there. But you have to give her a 30-day notice. Or give her 5 days. Or something.
Well, she did. She had a week and a half. There was a day already set for her to move out.
So?
Well, I was already a ton of money in the hole from
Just
covering
a second.
rent.
What date was she supposed to move out?
The 14th.
The 14th.
And what day was this?
The 9th.
The 9th.
When the incident happened.
Change the rules. You get nothing. See, you didn't have to say a word. That's all. Case is dismissed.
This is case number 399 on the calendar in the matter of Acosta versus Navarro. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Mr. Acosta, this is your wife?
Yes, it is.
From what I understand from your complaint, your wife has a child.
Correct.
You're the father of that child.
Yes.
You used to be her boyfriend?
Boyfriend.
How long have you been married?
Going on 2 years.
And you have another child?
Yes, I do.
A baby. According to you, Mr. Acosta, during an exchange of visitation between your wife and Mr. Navarro, could you sit down, please? Good. You were assaulted by him.
Correct.
And Mr. Navarro said that you were the aggressor. I gather that this exchange takes place at a police precinct.
Correct.
Why, Mr. Acosta?
Well, he used to be able to pick her up at my house, but see, every time he picked up at my house, he'd always threaten me and everything like that.
So initially the visitation provided that you pick up, it's your daughter?
Yes.
That you pick up your daughter at the house. What happened?
Just from prior experiences before, me and him get into altered arguments. And
why should you get into an argument?
A lot of times it was things that were passed from my Mrs. Acosta. We would have a dispute or something about my daughter, and then...
when would you have these disputes? At the time when you would pick up the child or return her for visitation?
Well, usually it'd be like before I got there on the phone, we would call and I'd had a little dispute, and then once we got there to exchange my daughter, it would always come up, and I'd try to talk, or we would try to...
What did you fight about?
Pickup times, maybe being late 10 minutes, not complete information about hospital appointments and stuff like that.
When was this visitation that resulted in an assault, Mr. Acosta?
October 16th.
Why don't you tell me what happened?
Well, we're driving, me and my wife were in the car, we're driving up to the police station. I was parked.
When had Mr. Navarro had his visitation? Was this a Sunday or a Saturday?
It was a Wednesday.
When did you pick your daughter up?
I picked her up that day from school, and I kept her for the evening and dropped her off at
Is that what your visitation
Yes.
schedule provides?
Yes.
Wednesday after school?
Yes.
So you picked her up from school, and what time were you supposed to exchange her at the precinct?
At 7 o'clock.
And you were there at 7?
Yes, I was there before.
And were you there at 7?
Yes, I was.
Tell me what happened.
Well, when I got into the police department, to the driveway, the defendant was sitting there with his hands folded to his chest, just giving me bad looks. Me and my wife were looking at each other and go, something's wrong. And, so as soon as we parked, she told me, he's still looking at you. So I told my wife, just go in the police station, do the exchange, and let's go.
You remained in your car?
Yes, I remained in my car.
And I see that your baby was in the car as
Correct.
well. How old is your baby?
She's 17 months.
Go ahead.
Okay, she went there to wait for him to come to the office. He still stayed outside, standing by his truck, giving me bad looks. Then, after 5 minutes later, he grabbed the daughter, went to the police station. I seen him
and my wife arguing back and forth, he still had my stepdaughter in his hands.
How did you see them arguing?
The windows are see-through. You can see right through the windows. They're just arguing. Okay, after that, he came outside like fast-pacing to my car, cursing at me and saying effing this, get the F out of the car. I go, well, what's wrong? You know, he's, oh, you hit my kid. I go, hit your kid? I go, I didn't even hit your kid. I go, why would I hit your kid? I treat your kid as she was mine.
Where was your daughter at the time, sir, when you came out of the precinct?
She was in my arms.
Go ahead.
Okay, while his daughter was in his arms, he was sitting there cursing at me through my window. My 17-month daughter was in the back. She was sleeping still. Okay, after he kept on cursing, he kept on going, more, get out of the car, this and that. I told you, if anybody ever laid a hand on my kid, I'm going to take him out. So I go, I don't know what you're talking about, you know, just go on your other side. Then he started getting more violent. Then my 17-month-old daughter woke up, and she was crying. So I was looking back, and I told her it's okay, you know. I go, relax, it's okay. And he still kept on cursing. While his daughter's still in his hand, he kept on still cursing. I go, a father shouldn't be cursing when his daughter's in his hand. That's not a good role model for his daughter.
You didn't say that to him, sir. Mr. Acosta, you didn't say you're not a good role model. Come on, let me just hear what happened, sir.
Okay, as soon as I got out of the car, because my 17-month-old daughter was crying in the back. So I went to go pick her up and go into the police station. As soon as I got out of the car, he swung my door open. He grabbed me by 2 hands. He threw me against my car 3 times. And out of those 3 times, he damaged my car on the side. I do have pictures to show proof.
Let me see.
There's estimates on the underneath the pictures also.
I'll hear you.
Okay, Your Honor. What he said, completely a lie.
That's my job. Mr. Navarro.
Okay, I arrived at the police station about 5 minutes till 7. I arrived there before they did. Once arriving, I was out of the car with my daughter inside the police station waiting for them. I was never outside. They're saying that I was out there with my arms up. That never happened. I was inside the police station waiting for them. I waited there until Cheryl and her husband arrived there, parking pretty much in close to the doors where I can see them drive up, until she got out of the car and entered the police station. I never was outside.
Fine, you weren't outside. What happened when you were inside the precinct, sir?
Once I was inside, I spoke to Miss Acosta.
What did she say to you and what did you say to her?
What I told her was, in the prior visitation before, Brianna had told me that Mr. Acosta had hit her and that she was playing with her younger sister and that somehow she ended up crying and that Stephen came in and got mad at her and hit her. So what I did was, when Miss Acosta came in, I told her what had happened. I told her, Brianna's telling me that Stephen hit her. Were you aware of it? What happened? And she's like, Brianna, is that true? And Brianna said yes, to her mother, standing there.
Was this on this date? Was this on the 16th of October?
No, it was the 12th is when I told her. So that's when I had told her the first time. The second time when I was waiting there, and I had came in, I had told her again, Brianna's telling me the same thing.
What did you tell her?
I told her, on the way to the police station, Brianna had told me I don't want to go. And I said, why not? Stephen's still hitting me. So then I said, what do you want me to do, Brianna? Do you want me to tell your mother? Tell me, what do you want me to do? I go, if I'm going to say this, 4 years old.
So you're saying to this 4-year-old, tell me what you want me to do, Brianna.
Well,
do you want me to tell your mother? That's what you're saying to her? Mr. Navarro, you think I'm crazy?
No.
That's not the kind of conversation you have with a 4-year-old, sir.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You keep whatever disputes that you have between adults, and you don't involve your 4-year-old.
I just wanted to question Stephen in front of Brianna to see what reaction she would have.
That's not your job!
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Stephen Acosta says the father of his wife's daughter, Ariel Navarro, assaulted him during a custody exchange at a police station. Ariel says Stephen was the aggressor.
Go ahead.
So once we were in there in the police station on the 16th, I told Miss Acosta, Brianna's telling me that Stephen's hitting her again. What I want you to do is talk to Stephen about this, tell him what's going on. And she blew up. She said, why are you always starting trouble? I said, look, I'm not starting trouble. I just want to resolve this. This is my daughter. It's very important for me what's going on in her life. And I think this needs to be talked about. So right away, she blew up and says, why the hell are you starting problems? And I said, look, tell him to come inside the lobby so we can talk to all 3 of us right here in front of the lobby so we can, resolve it.
And where was Brianna going to sit when you were having this conversation?
I wanted Brianna there because I wanted Brianna to listen to what's happening.
Where did you get your psychiatric degree? Mr. Navarro? Where did you get your degree? You wanted the four of you to sit and have a discussion inside the police precinct.
I just wanted to question Stephen in front of Brianna to see what reaction she would have.
That's not your job!
Okay.
So she blew up at you.
Yes.
Go ahead.
As soon as she blew up, I said, if you're not going to tell him anything, I'm going to tell him. So with Brianna still in my arms, I exited the police station because showing that I was not going out there to be aggressive or telling any type of situation that might get into an argument.
Mr. Navarro, you know how long I sat in the family court? How old are you?
25.
That many years. I'm going to tell you what happened.
Okay.
You went into the precinct and you were furious. You were furious because when you spoke to Mrs. Acosta, the mother of your child, she was unimpressed by your complaints. And she probably said to you, Brianna says things about you and says things about, this is Stephanie? Yeah, I read the papers. So you have a 4-year-old who's probably playing both sides. And you weren't getting anywhere with Brianna's mother. No. And you were furious, so you didn't make the exchange, because if you wanted to do the calm thing, what you do was say to her, I want to go out and talk to Stephen privately myself. If you weren't angry, if you hadn't lost it. So here's Brianna, you take Brianna, because I don't want Brianna involved in the situation when I talk to Stephen. That's what you do if you're calm. But you weren't calm.
Your Honor,
you were furious. So you took your daughter, because you did not make the exchange. Your visitation was over, 7 o'clock. You did not make the exchange in the precinct. You went outside. You confronted him with the child in your hands. There's no question in my mind that you caused this damage to the car. No question. Now, you want to tell me how that happened with your 4-year-old?
As soon as I stepped outside and I said, Stephen, I need to speak with you, which I did very calmly. Went like that. He swung the door open. When he flung it open, I had to turn to my side because that's how hard he opened the door, that it braced my side. As soon as I saw him getting out of the car and like that in a rage that he was, I set my daughter down and I told his mother, grab the baby, and she said no. And at the same time, when I put her down, I came back up. He was already in my face. I never told him to get out of the car. As soon as he came out of the car, he grabbed my shirt. I grabbed him. He shoved me, and at the both time, we were both pushing each other. We both swung into his car.
Baloney. You went out there, Mr. Navarro, and you were furious. You were furious because you hadn't gotten anywhere. Now, let me give you some very sound advice, sir. It is a sad commentary. Put your papers down, both of you, and pay attention. Look like you're paying attention. Have you gone back to family court yet with regard to resolving the issue of visitation with this child?
Yes, we have.
What is the current order of visitation?
He lost a week due to the incident, what happened October 16th. He lost a week, and he lost his dinner nights.
It's clear to me, Mr. Navarro, that you love your daughter. It's clear to me that that's true. And that you, in all probability, should continue to be a part of her life. You want what's best for her. You have to understand that very often 4-year-old little girls who are very, very smart will play both sides of their parents, especially when their parents are living separate. You have to understand that that's a possibility. You're not supposed to question your daughter. You're not supposed to say, what's Stephen doing? Is Stephen hurting you? Is Stephen hitting you? When you have a 4-year-old and you have a baby in the house, very often the 4-year-old is aggressive. You've never seen marks on your child?
Yes.
Where
I'm
have you
not saying
seen
it was caused by him. I'm saying marks of maybe
Okay, you've never seen marks that you attribute to him
no.
on your child,
No,
right?
not at all. But at the same time, I was saying...
I'm speaking, and you're not listening.
Okay.
You keep whatever disputes that you have with Mr. Acosta between adults, and you don't involve your 4-year-old. That's it. There is no question about that. That's a given. That's something any moron can understand, Mr. Navarro. You don't, the three of you, get together and you decide to have your 4-year-old sit there at a conversation where you're going to discuss with her mother and her stepfather whether or not she's being hit at home by her stepfather or your wife. You have children?
Yes.
Other than Brianna?
Yes.
How many?
We have a 2-year-old together, and then I have 2 stepsons.
Okay. And anybody ever go like this to one of the children? You? Her?
Yes.
Ever hit them on the behind?
Yes.
What about Stephanie? Did you ever see Stephanie raise her hand to one of the children?
Not Brianna.
Did you ever see Stephanie raise her hand to one of the children?
Yes.
Why, you think she's only going to reserve that for her children and yours?
Yes.
You think that that's true?
Yes.
Baloney. So let's get it together. But you don't put your child in harm's way. You lost your temper, Mr. Navarro, and you caused damage to his car. And I don't think you hurt him. You weren't treated for any injuries, were you?
Yes, I was, ma'am.
Where?
My neck.
Let me see. Was Mr. Navarro arrested?
Yes, he was.
What was the result of the case?
I pressed a charge against him, and he pressed a charge against me, too.
What did he press charges against
Because
you for?
when I was talking to the sheriff, when he came outside, he's like, what do you want to do? I go, I would like to press charges. He goes, Mr. Acosta, you know, he will have a right, too, to press charges against you. He can turn the story around. I go, I think I'll take my chances on doing that. Because he thinks every time...
So what happened?
So we both got arrested.
Well, what happened with the case?
It got dismissed.
Both of them?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do for a living, Mr. Navarro?
I'm a plumber.
And you?
Computer technician.
So $656 was the cheapest estimate that you had for fixing the car?
Yes.
How many times has there been an exchange of visitation since October 16th? You lost a week, sir, and what else?
I didn't lose a week. I gained a whole side weekend. And my visitations were 3 times a month, weekends, 1st, 3rd, and 4th, and then Wednesday evening dinner. The new order is I get her every other weekend, and I get her Thursday through Sunday. I have a longer period with her.
Every other weekend?
Every other weekend. Prior, we've had, I say, maybe 8 drop-offs since.
And how have they gone?
They've been fine. But I also wanted to say, from prior to that, there's also a restraining order there, prior from my wife fining him in the past of showing his anger and his violence towards us. A restraining of saying over the phone, terrorist threats over the phone. I was trying to get a hold of me, and that was filed in March, I believe. And it's good to 2005 for his actions.
Your wife is the complainant.
Yeah, but it covers also for me.
But your wife was the complainant.
Yes.
I'm curious. Step up, please, Mr. Navarro. What were the allegations in your request for a protective order against Mr. Acosta?
It was to refrain him from calling my house, making verbal threats against me and my family.
Was there a trial with regard to that?
Yes, there was.
Did you testify?
Yes, I did.
Did he testify?
Yes, he did.
After that trial, were you granted the protective order?
Yes.
For 12 months?
It was more than 12 months. It was granted to 2005.
Is that correct, sir?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Why were you calling the house?
That was one of her false allegations that she pressed against me. Ever since I got with my wife, they've been writing reports about me, filing reports against me at the Foothill Police Station, at the Azusa Police Station. She finally got her letter together, and she went to the court office and filed a restraining order against me, saying I threatened her house, which never happened. She lied against the whole thing. And when we went to the court, the judge told me, he goes, she took you to court. You didn't take her to court, so I'm going to grant her restraining order. He told me if I want to get a restraining order, I can take her to court too.
You're responsible for his car, Mr. Navarro. His car is $656. What were your out-of-pocket expenses, sir, for your medical care?
None. I'm on Medi-Cal, man.
So it was all covered?
It was all covered.
Mr. Navarro, you got to learn to keep your temper. Especially you have to learn to keep your temper in front of your child. Do you understand that?
I understand, Judge.
You lost your temper. You lost it. If you hadn't lost it, then you would never have placed your child in harm's way.
I didn't go out there to be
Yes,
in
you
harm's
did.
way.
You placed your child in harm's way because if you wanted to protect your child, then what you do is you give the child to her mother in the precinct, and then if you're completely composed, then you want to go outside and discuss, as you indicated, you wanted to just discuss it calmly, you can go over to Stephen and discuss it calmly. However, based on what you told me, Mr. Navarro, your wife was frightened enough of this man to have previously gotten a protective order against him because you say he called on the telephone and threatened bodily harm to your family. Then, under those circumstances, you take your daughter out of the precinct where you were supposed to have dropped her off with her mother. You were so angry that you couldn't control yourself that you went up to the car with your daughter in your hands and confronted this man who you thought was so dangerous that your wife needed a protective order. So if you're telling me that you were behaving in a rational way, the way that a father would behave if they were trying to protect their child, I'm telling you that you did not. You lost your cool, Mr. Navarro. And you're still insisting to me that you didn't? You did. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. That covers not only your car, sir, but almost $1,000 for being assaulted. That's all.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Tyler versus Webb. Step forward, please.
Tax preparer Peggy Tyler is suing her former employer, business owner Tom Webb, for past due wages and sexual harassment.
Ms. Tyler, according to your complaint, you worked for the defendant in January of 2000
Till April 15th of 2002, I'm sorry.
April of 2002, mid-April.
Right.
And you claim that he owes you some money. You say he owes you money for some wages that he didn't pay you for, that 2 weeks' worth, that he owes you some commission.
Yes, ma'am.
That he sexually harassed you, which is the reason he's not going to pay you because you did not respond to his advances. And third and finally, that he had promised to pay your son some money for doing some odd jobs for him.
It was one, Your Honor. They took a balloon down the whole season.
You'll explain that to me because I have no idea what kind of work you were doing for Mr. Webb because it doesn't say in the complaint what kind of work you were doing and what kind of place he has. Mr. Webb says there was some money outstanding, according to him, but he said you broke your agreement with him. The agreement was that you would work for him through April 15th, and you left prior to that date, so he's not paying you a dime.
No, I didn't leave prior to that date.
That's your defense. Is that right, sir?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He would look down our blouses and make comments about our breasts.
And the other thing you say is your boobs would make nice pillows.
Mm-hmm. We're supposed to be seen and not heard.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Peggy Taylor says former employer Tom Webb sexually harassed her when he called her a hot biker mama. Peggy says when she rebuffed his advances, he refused to pay her.
What kind of business do you have, Mr. Webb?
Tax preparation and filing, Your Honor.
Ms. Tyler, when did you start to work for the defendant?
I actually started to work for him December the 23rd.
In what capacity?
I was a tax preparer, Your Honor.
And what was the salary that you were supposed to receive?
$7.50 an hour.
Is that correct so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what about the commission part of it?
When we got hired, everybody that got hired, we signed a paper and agreed to that if we quit or was fired before April the 15th, we would not get our commission.
Well, I don't understand what the commission was. Is that a bonus?
The commission, yes, ma'am, it's like a bonus. It's on every tax return that I did. I get so much commission on that.
Let me see the contract that you signed.
It's not a contract, Your Honor. This is the people that I did from January, all of us in the...
Can I see the contract that you signed? Okay. So according to this, you started to work for him on January 1st, 2002. And you worked for him until what date, Ms. Tyler?
April the 15th at 9 p.m.
And how much are you owed in salary?
It's about $600.
Did you pay her salary for the last 2 weeks she worked for you?
The last pay period was actually about 8 days, and she did not receive that paycheck for those last 8 days, which
Why
would
not?
have been a gross of about $310, net of about $270. Ms. Tyler owed me $400.
For what?
From a loan I made to her February 1st. I'm not in the habit of loaning money to my employees, but she had a distinct need, a child who was very ill, who needed medicine, and if she didn't have that medicine, the child would either get very ill.
Did you borrow money from him?
Yes, I did.
How much?
It was $400.
Did you pay him back?
No, I did not. At the end of the tax season, when we went to the party, I had $200 in cash, Your Honor, and tried to give him that and ask him to bring the checks up there, and I was going to sign my other check over to him, which would have been well over the $400, but he did not want that. He asked me and my son to leave the commission party.
Just a second. When do you claim she left your employ, sir?
The last day that we have on record that she worked was April 13th. I have the daily time records from the last 2 days of the year, the 14th and 15th, and she did not work on those.
Let me see.
On the 15th, when I worked, Your Honor, Charlie is the one I called to the home office and asked him to clock me in.
Well, was that your general practice? To have
Yes,
somebody
ma'am.
else clock you in?
Yeah, we would either clock in on the computer and then we would call the home office and tell them what time we were in. And I worked from 9 a.m. or 9:30 that morning until 9 p.m. that night. That's when I turned my key over to B.J. Wade.
What key are you talking about?
To the office. All the employees had keys because on Sundays I worked by myself and I had to open the office.
Well, B.J., that's you. B.J. Wade, is that you?
Yes.
Step up, please. You were in the office on that date, is that right?
Yes.
On the 14th?
Yes.
Was the plaintiff there on that day?
Yes, she was.
Are you still working there?
No, I'm not.
How long did you work there?
The whole tax season.
Did you get
January
paid?
till April 15th.
Did you get paid?
Yes.
You know a Michelle?
Yes.
Was Michelle there on the 14th?
No.
Yes, she was. Time in 5, time out 9. She was there.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Peggy Tyler says former boss Tom Webb refuses to pay her because she refused his sexual advances.
How many people were you responsible for, madam?
6.
Of the 6 people that you were responsible for, how many worked until the 15th?
All of them but one.
Who was that?
Nancy.
So then the 5 people that you were responsible for get their commissions?
Yes.
Could you explain to me why she did not?
Because she owed the money, which she did agree to pay that back at the commission party, and he would not do it the way that she offered to do it.
Okay. Have a seat. Now, Ms. Tyler, let's address this theory that you have that the reason he's not paying you, according to your complaint, is that you did not respond to his sexual advances. You want to tell me about that?
He would look down our blouses and make comments about our breasts.
Tell me not our. Tell me what he said to you.
He called me a hot mama biker because
Okay, stop. When did he call you a hot mama biker?
It was in February.
Okay. Now, after February, and was the other comment that he made to you something about your breasts made at approximately the same time?
It was after that.
In what month?
Around the end of February, maybe the first week in March.
So that both remarks were made to you, being a hot mama, biker mama, and the other thing you say is your boobs would make nice pillows.
Mm-hmm.
You attribute that to the defendant. Were made to you either in February or at the latest the first week in March. Is that right? Is that right?
Yes.
And you got paid the entire month of February. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
And you got paid the entire month of March. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
And when did you ask for this loan?
I believe it was around the end of February.
So none of the comments that he made to you so appalled you that you would be reluctant to ask him for a loan. Is that right?
Right.
So why let us assume that it's true for the moment, which I don't necessarily believe, sir. I want you to understand that. Why would you say that he was withholding your money because of this sexual harassment?
Because he didn't honestly believe that I would do anything about it. Because I'm not the only one that he cheated out of commission money, and years before that he did ladies the same way, which he doesn't believe women can hold any kind of an office anywhere because they're not smart enough. We're supposed to be seen and not heard. But, Your Honor, honestly, if it hadn't been for all of us women, he wouldn't have had offices.
Miss Tyler, if you didn't like Mr. Webb as an employer, don't go to work for him. You owe him $400. Now, clearly, he owes you some money, too. He owes you for 8 days, which, according to him, comes to what in gross pay, sir?
About $310.
Mr. Webb, I want you to figure out, sir, how much she earned in commissions. I assume that you've done that already.
Yes, ma'am.
And what would that amount be?
She did 133 tax returns, net to the company of about $14,000, which would have been $700 gross as a commission.
So altogether, we're talking about $1,010. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
From which we deduct $400. Now, it's really too bad that it ended this way. You being a nice person to make some loans. I think Ms. Tyler's accusations of sexual harassment are off the wall. If, in fact, you did say something stupid like that, I'll just chalk it up to stupidity. First of all, your sexual harassment is dismissed because you're suing him for $2,500. I want you to get that figure right out of your mind. Now, tell me about the deal with your sons.
They were to take the balloon down. BJ's husband put it up. They took it down.
How often did they take down this balloon?
Every night. It was 7 nights a week.
Really?
Yes.
And what was the agreement with regard to taking down the balloon?
He was going to pay them $100 each.
Do you have any agreement with the boys, sir?
I didn't know the boys existed until this was filed.
Really?
Correct.
Okay. Who do you claim he made the agreement with?
He made the agreement with my older son. He talked to him.
Come, step up. Tell me your name.
Jesse Tyler.
Tell me when you first met Mr. Webb.
I never met him before. I talked to him on the phone.
Tell me about how it came to pass that you spoke to Mr. Webb on the phone.
My mom told me that he wanted somebody to take the balloon down, and she told him that we could do it.
Tell me what you had to do.
It was out in front of the building, and we had to unplug it and let the air out of it and put it in the case and bring it in the building.
Mr. Webb, who did you think took the balloon down?
I was paying B.J. Wade and her husband, who took her to work and picked her up in the
Really?
evening, to do that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Miss Wade, stand up. Were you supposed to put the balloon out and take it up? You were the office manager.
My husband put it up every morning at 9
Were you
o'clock.
supposed to take it down?
No.
How much was he paid?
It was like $8 extra on my check a week to take it down. And I don't have the stubs with me. I didn't bring them.
Interesting. How did you know that it was this gentleman that you spoke to on the phone?
She told me, my mom told me.
Tell me how that came about.
We talked to him.
Tell me about that you talked to him. So far, I believe that your mother said to you, he wants you to take the balloon down, and he'll pay you for it, and he'll give you $100. I want you to tell me, and I want you to make sure you tell me the truth, because otherwise, you know, I'm unpleasant. You'll always trip yourself up if you lie. Do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever speak to him on the phone?
Yes.
Tell me when, and tell me how that phone call came about.
It was in the beginning of January when the tax season started.
Go ahead.
And she answered the phone and told me that it was him, and I talked to him about it.
So you got on the phone, and what did you say?
I said that, what did you want me to talk about? You know, like that, you know.
No, don't buy it.
What?
Don't buy it. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced it wasn't her husband. I have to be satisfied that he had a contract with him. That doesn't mean...
Well, they didn't put nothing in writing. No.
Can't hire a 10-year-old. Did your husband also pick you up from work?
Yes, but
yes, he did.
I did not work till
Okay,
closing.
judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $610, and that is for the wages and the commission that I believe you owe her, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
No sexual harassment and no balloon. That's all. Case is dismissed.
Now, this is case number 200 on the calendar in the matter of Wofford versus Cox. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats.
Miss Wofford, you and the defendant, according to your complaint, had an off-again, on-again relationship for about 7 years.
Correct.
The last time it was off again, it is your claim that he came into the house and took all the property, half of which was yours. He says he got sick and tired of being tossed out with the clothes on his back over the 7-year period and decided that he was going to take the property this time because he paid for it and it's his. He's got a counterclaim for a truck that he purchased for $750 that he says was put in your name because he had some driver's license problems and you had the truck towed onto your property and he wants his truck back. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is, why are you bothering me? Together on and off for 7 years, not married. You see, we don't have courts here for those people who choose just to live together. We have courts for people who are married and divorcing. You know, the property is either community property or it's property that is divided by equitable distribution. But you expect me to go back and figure out who bought what? Is that what you want?
No. No.
So what do you want?
I would like half of what was given, or half of what was ours.
Who bought it?
We bought it together. We shared all of our monies together.
Did you have a joint bank account?
No, we did not.
You mean you would see a TV and you would say, well, the TV is $500. Here's $250 and here's $250.
That's correct.
Show me. No, the burden is on her.
Okay.
Just listen to me. The burden is on her.
Okay. I would be more than glad to show you proof of receipts, but when he came into my house after the day he broke the restraining order, they took all the receipts. They took the contents of the file cabinet. So I have no receipts. I have pictures of what the TV looks like. I have warranty cards on it.
Did you
That's
go
all
into
I
the
have
house after there was a restraining order filed against you?
I thought I was illegally served. I even called the courts. It was the next day. I went back and only took what things were mine.
Tell me what you took.
I took my TV, my camping gear, my skis, and things that my parents have given me over the years. Tin cans that we collect.
What else?
And my clothes. VCR that a friend of mine owed me $20, and he gave me his VCR instead because he didn't have the money to pay me back.
What else?
That's all I can remember.
Okay. Now, how long did you live in this apartment together?
About 5 years.
Is that right?
Yeah, a little over 5 years.
Did you sleep in a bed?
Yes, we did.
Did he take the bed?
No.
Did you sit on the couch? Shh. Did you sit on a couch?
Yes.
Did he take the couch?
No.
Did you eat on a table?
Yes.
Did he take the table?
Yes, he did.
Kitchen table?
Yes.
Did you take the table?
Yes. I just purchased it.
Just a second. Took the table. Take the chairs that went with the table?
There was 2 chairs with it.
2 chairs. Now let's go back to the living room. There's a sofa.
Yes.
Is there any chair in the living room?
There was one chair.
Did he take the chair?
Yes, he did.
Is that right?
The recliner chair that my mom gave me, yes.
Where did she give us? Did
My
his
mom
mother
never gave
give-
you anything.
Shh, come on. Swafford, did the recliner chair come from his mother?
Yes.
Is there a cocktail table in the living room?
Yes, there was.
Okay. And?
He took that also, which was a Christmas gift.
Just a second. Did you know, Mr. Cox, when I ask you what you took, you're
I'm
supposed to answer me, sir.
I'm a little nervous, that's all.
I don't care if you're nervous or not. You remembered your skis and you remember the $20 VCR. When I ask you what you took, you're supposed to tell me. How many pieces of furniture did you leave?
Everything that was hers, the couch. She has another kitchen table upstairs. All the 4 chairs that go to that kitchen table.
Just a minute. Is there another kitchen table in the house?
Yes, there was.
And did he leave it?
Oh, yes, he did.
Good. What else?
That was hers.
Oh, just a second. What else did you leave is what I want to know.
Her microwave, the microwave stand. All
Okay,
the
just a second. Was there a microwave in the house?
Yes.
And did he leave it?
Yes.
You see what I'm trying to get at, Ms.
see.
Wofford, is the following. I have absolutely no intention of wasting my time in going through a bunch of ridiculous items of property. You now have a house. Your house has a bed to sleep in, a table and chairs to eat off of, a couch to sit on, right?
Yes, correct.
You have a microwave, and I assume an oven. Oven is kind of hard to say, but you have a microwave to warm things up, and as far as I'm concerned, that's as much cooking as any natural person has to have. So you have a perfectly livable condition, and I have no intention of going through items like a table and 2 chairs. You got a table and 2 chairs, you got a table and 4 chairs. You got a couch, you took the recliner chair.
Okay, may I say something? There was personal items of mine that he took.
Like what?
When he took his clothes out of the closet, instead of looking, he just gathered them up like this. There was a ski jacket that was bought for me from my sister. The skis that he took that were given to me by my sister. There was several clothes, my fishing pole, my tackle box, the coffee table that was built for me by my son's friend. And here's a statement from him, from the agreement that him and Ron had on it.
Because I paid for it, that's why the agreements.
No, that is not.
Well, maybe why don't you explain why we got another coffee table?
Listen to me. Listen to me.
I'm sorry.
Now I want to go back to the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
Who purchased the truck?
I did.
We did.
Ask her
Just a second. Just a second.
Ask her who the owners were that I bought it from. She don't even know.
How much did the truck cost?
I paid $700 for it.
Where did you get the $700 from?
I made payments as I was working. Each payday, I made payments on it because I couldn't pay $700 up front.
We made payments
Just a
on
second.
it.
Just a second. How did you make payments on it?
Because my boss.
How?
Oh, out of my check.
Check or cash?
Cash.
Now, the rest of the money, sir, went for
Food.
rent and gas and electric, and
And
I
then
assume that you paid those things together.
We did.
Is that right?
My checks usually paid all the bills and stuff because my checks were bigger than her amount because at the time she was only making minimum wage.
Okay. So your checks went to pay the household bills, and her checks went for what?
To get through. She had a direct deposit. In the last 6-8 months, the year that we were together, her money was her money, and mine was mine. More or less, my money got through, and I had to beg her for
That
$5.
is not true whatsoever.
That
That
is
is not.
true.
Everything we had together was paid 50-50. He paid half the
Is
rent.
it?
I had paid half the rent.
Show me.
Electricity.
I have some bills to show you that.
I have no.
Did you pay your rent by check?
No, we paid it by cash. And can we
Okay,
get back
listen to me. Listen to me. Hey!
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Can we talk about the restraining order he broke?
No.
Ma'am, what about the...
No.
And later today,
This is her signature, 213. No deposit. Price of the puppy, $500. No deposit. What are you, a Swiftie? I mean,
No,
what's
ma'am,
wrong
that's
with
her
you?
signature, ma'am.
No, it isn't.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Diane Wofford says ex-boyfriend Ron Cox stole her belongings when he moved out of their apartment. Ron says Diane stole his truck.
Do you have a car?
Yes, I do.
What kind of car do you have?
I have the Toyota pickup and I have a Chevy.
No! What kind of car do you
I
have?
have a Chevy Cavalier that is
All
broken.
right. Now, what year car is it?
It's a 90 Chevy Cavalier.
The time that the truck was purchased, were you driving the Chevy Cavalier?
Yes.
And what was Mr. Cox driving?
He wasn't driving anything at the time because he doesn't have a driver's license.
Bird, would you give me the title, please?
Can we talk about the restraining order he broke?
No.
Okay. We talk about his
You could talk
alcoholism.
you could talk about that with your children, but I'm not interested in it. I'm just interested in getting this.
Sorry.
I'm just interested in, right now, the truck. Okay. I see that this truck was purchased in two people's names. Is that right?
I purchased.
Is that right?
It is at the time, yeah.
All right. Now, Mr. Wofford, let me explain to you something, sir. While there is no equitable distribution or community property involved in people living together, when people choose stupidly to live together for 7 years or 5 years without benefit of marriage, I'm going to take the easiest way out for a court in determining who owns property. And as far as I'm concerned, this property is owned 50-50. Do you understand? You chose, for whatever reason, to put her name on the title.
I made that mistake.
You made a mistake. If you made a mistake, why should I have to suffer for it by extending this case any longer than I have to? Now, you paid $700 for the truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right? Correct. Very good. Now, Miss Wofford, are you driving this pickup now?
Yes, I am.
What happened to your Chevy?
It's broken. This
The
French
so you're driving it?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, correct.
And do you drive it to work?
Yes, I do.
And I assume you want to keep it?
Yes, I do.
Very good. Then you will pay him on his counterclaim, okay, $350. Your claim is dismissed. On the counterclaim, I'm awarding you $350, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Sign over the title.
What about all my stuff? What about my personal belongings that he has
Sign
taken out of my
over
home?
the title. Do we have a pen?
Your Honor, may I say something?
No.
Ma'am, what about the...
No. You're getting a truck, Miss Wofford, that in all probability you had nothing to do with paying for, and you're getting it at a bargain price. Do you understand?
I guess.
Do you understand? Worth at least as much as the fishing pole you say that he took. And that somebody's skis that... Did you sign it, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Now, Bird, would you hand that over to Miss Wofford? And then, Bird, would you do me the last favor? Sure. Would you show them out?
Parties are excused. You may step out.
This man came into my home, ripped me off. I have a restraining order about his alcoholism problems this man has had.
The whole relationship was abusive, both physically and mentally.
He's a nothing. He's a no good. He'll always be a no good.
And now, case number 118 on the calendar in the matter of Stutz versus Bailey. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have seats, please.
This case is like a mini-series. Mr. Stutz, you and the defendant lived together for a long time, and there are lots of pieces to your claims, because I have a claim, I have a counterclaim. The main part of the case is about a van that you claim is yours, that after you broke up, you had impounded. So now the van is in an impound someplace. Is that right, sir?
Yes, it's in a storage.
And you want the defendant to give you the title to the van so you could have your van out of storage. The defendant says it's her van, and she wants the van. Then you claim that she has some jewelry that belongs to you. She says she has one piece of jewelry that belongs to you that she's prepared to give back to you. And what is that, madam?
The ring his father had made for him.
Can I see it, Bird, please?
Sure.
So let's take care of the simple things first. Okay. Is this your father's ring, sir?
I can't see that far.
You can't see that far. I can see up close.
Yes, it looks like it.
Now you have it back.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Easy.
Thank you.
Now let's deal with the other easy part of this case. You were engaged to be married,
That's true.
and you gave her an engagement ring.
Yes.
And how much did you pay for this engagement ring?
Approximately $1,300.
You have the receipt?
No, I don't have the receipts. She has all the receipts to them. We had a joint checking account at the time. My mom left me a bunch of money, and I put it into account because I couldn't have a checking account. And so she paid for it, which was my money that was in the account. She paid for it with check. All the money that was put into the account was what my mother had left me. My mom left me approximately like $48,000, and it was all my money that was in that account. She had nothing.
Yes.
I took care of his mother. She was dying of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yes.
How long did you take care of his mother?
About 6 or 7 months.
Yes, she took care of my mother. My sister made her a deal. Paid her so much money a week, room and board. During the time she was there taking care of my mother, my mom still took care of her family, helped her mother out.
All right.
And
Let me
everything.
just a second. So what you're telling me is She wrote out the check for her own engagement ring.
Yeah, with my money.
Was it his money that paid for the engagement ring?
Yes, he put the money into the checking account,
All right.
and it was
Fine.
$1,000.
So it's his?
It was $1,000.
$1,000. Where's the ring?
It got stolen along with my VCR and some other stuff of mine.
When?
I'm not exactly sure. It was in my girlfriend's car.
Did you file a police report?
No.
Why not?
Because I had to have her. It was in her car.
So what? If the property was stolen out of the car, why didn't you file a police report?
Well, I didn't find out about it until later.
I
and
don't
couldn't
believe
get
you.
Well, it's true.
Oh, I don't believe you. How's that? You don't keep an engagement ring in a car.
No, she had my bags and stuff.
Did she have insurance?
No.
Then if she didn't have insurance, then you file a police report. Then you say to me, here's the police report. I listed it as an item that was stolen, and therefore I have some proof that it was stolen. So right now, sir, you're ahead of the game by $1,000.
Thank you.
On your claim. Now tell me about the van.
Okay, I bought, my mom left me money, and she had 3 wishes for me. One, okay, well, I bought this van on approximately October, when I got a big check from my mom's inheritance that she left me. And she was supposed to go register the van as me as legal owner and her as registered owner.
Why did she do that?
For insurance purposes.
Why? What's wrong with you?
My record isn't very good that
Why?
way. Because I had a couple tickets at the time.
What else, sir?
And that's it. Just tickets.
So you put the van in her name?
No, it was never finished in her name. What it was, she was supposed to go take it down there, and then when she left, after a big heated argument, she took the van, and just left. The next day I go down to the DMV to find out what's up. They tell me that she's trying to put this in her name. And so I says, wait a minute here, so the DMV puts a stop on it. And as my witness will tell you, he's seen the money exchange at the time.
How much did you pay for the van?
I paid approximately $3,300 for it.
Oh, okay. Now, what's your story about the van?
For one, he wasn't there.
Just tell me what your story is about the van.
Okay, when we were waiting for the house to go through probate, he lost his job. We needed money to pay the rent, and we sold the Volkswagen van so we could pay rent. And he said that he would buy me another van, and he was going to buy a truck. And he said...
All right, so you sold his car in order to pay the rent?
No, he gave it to me, and he kept saying, it's up to you, it's your van. If you want to sell it. I said, well, we need to pay our bills.
All right, let's go. Let's go. So now we went and bought the van. He bought the van with his money, is that right?
Yes.
Is that van titled now? Is there?
No, it's not. It's right through the middle of it all.
It's not complete, but I have the paperwork here.
Good. Can I have it, please?
And then there's some
I'll
other
just give
jewelry
her
that's
all
involved,
the
too.
paperwork.
That's it. That's it.
And Your Honor?
What?
Can I say something else?
What?
When I went to the DMV to finish the paperwork, and the police came and said that it was on the hot sheet, I said, yes, I reported it stolen because it was stolen from behind my apartment.
How long did you people live together?
Off and on for like 15, 16 years. When my mom died, I tried to make it work, and it just wouldn't work. I was tired of taking care of her and her family. We went through a bundle of money, and like 3 months, we went through a lot of money.
And I don't have any indication that he made a gift of this van to you. He bought it, he paid for it, and shortly after you got it, you took off.
When I left, Your Honor, he said for me to sign off on the RV, and he wouldn't give me any problems about the van.
That's baloney.
Oh, just 1 second, just 1 second. Hold on a second. Oh, here we... Hold on a second.
He was there.
Shh.
He was there.
Hold on a second. You bought an RV?
I bought this RV at the beginning of when my mom gave me a first $10,000 check. I bought an RV to live in because my mom, when she was on her dying bed, said to buy this so you make sure you have something to live in.
Just a second. What year was that?
2000.
And at that point, you'd been together with her 13 or 14
No,
years?
we really weren't together off and on. What happened
What does
was
that
we
mean?
got back together when she was taking care of my
When
mother.
he needed help.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and when she got paid for it, I even
Okay,
took her
just
to
1
Mexico on a
second.
cruise.
So before that, you weren't living together?
No, we only actually lived together after my mom died for 10 months or something like that. A relationship was just like that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He almost killed me when his mother was alive, and I told him if he laid a hand on me that I would leave.
I haven't touched you in over 10 years.
Listen to me. I'm not interested. Get over it.
And later today,
Have you ever known her to be psychiatrically hospitalized?
Yes.
How many times was she in a psychiatric hospital?
I really couldn't tell you because I'm so used to being incarcerated. So I couldn't tell you.